So today we want to talk about how important it is to surround yourself with beauty and nature, regardless of what the season is. Us at Great Lakes Landscape are doing all kinds of winter arrangements and centerpieces and holiday decorating.
Now, when you develop those arrangements, they can be a combination of synthetics and real. So if you're bringing the real, you're bringing those greens and you're putting them into an oasis foam that's going to be able to contain moisture to allow those greens to stay fresh. Now, you can add to those arrangements with either dried flowers, synthetic picks, whatever kind of strikes your fancy at that point to bring in whatever tone, color, or texture that you're looking to add to your home. Now, when you're talking about interior plants, on the other hand, there are two different light levels that one needs to concern themselves with. Low light levels and high light level plants. When you're dealing with plants on the inside, there is a common misconception of the plant must be watered constantly. The plants are usually killed by overwatering and underlighting. So you have to do your research, you have to know what you're doing, where you're placing this, and if that plant can actually tolerate it, and how often you should be watering it.
I want to just say on a side note, that's plants in general. Plants on the outside and plants on the inside.
Now with those plants, such as mother-in-law's tongue, corn plant, or siennas, these are all low light level plants. They don't need to be directly in a window. High light level plants, such as spider plants, aloe, violets, all these plants require direct light. The best place for those are in southeast windows.
But I want to say on a side note, there is one plant that can take a lot less water and still keep thriving, and that is an orchid.
Plants going into terrariums, on the other hand, have their own self-contained ecosystems. The lids keep them moisture inside the container and allow the plant to continue to recycle that moisture over and over and over again, requiring only limited watering.
And you'll know it's working because you can look at the glass of a terrarium and it always has some moisture on it.
Terrariums allow you to do a little bit more with the plants. Miniatures are great when you deal with terrariums. It gives you a little bit more of a story. You can actually set it up as a specific, like, forested environment. You can put things in there that make it look like a small world. And you don't necessarily have to always do real items in these containers. You can always move them in, and especially if you're not a green thumb person, then you can start to use a little bit more and start to develop a real story with things.
Yeah, I am not a green thumb person personally. I don't have luck with plants, so I like to incorporate things like rocks and moss. It's still like earthy outdoor things, but into like a synthetic terrarium, because then once you have it, you have it, and it's there to look at, and it brings the outdoors in without having to maintain or care for plants. So that's perfect for me because it's still earthy and it's still the outdoors, but I don't need to worry about watering or heat or cool or anything. So,
and she will get, as anyone else will, that vibe of like real living things, because they're kind of good from far and far from good once they're under that glass.
And I really like to make stories with mine.
And she's really good at it.
Now, when you're dealing with the terrariums, you just have to make sure you, one, provide for positive drainage in the bottom of the container, and that you have just enough soil for those plants to be able to grow in.
Could you explain what you mean by drainage in glass? How would you get drainage through glass?
Now, if you put gravel or rock at the bottom, it'll allow for the water to seep down to the bottom, and as the container heats up, it will evaporate and pull into the plants, and the plants will use it. And the same thing in the soil. It will keep on going up and around, and it'll keep circulating over and over and over again, just like it does in the Earth's atmosphere. It's just on a much smaller scale. Now, other things that you can do without the need for an actual full-on dish garden is small succulents. Succulents allow for you to do a little bit more. They're a lot more tolerant of a lot of conditions, low light levels, high light levels. They can range from very low temperatures to very high temperatures.
They're really forgiving, they're really loving, they are a gift that continues to give, but they are definitely in the cactus family, and they are not in need of lots of water at all.